Let's rewind the clock, besties. Back to when Sister Wives was still new and full of hope. Christine was raising babies. Janelle was working full time. Meri was clinging to a dream of unity. And then Robyn walked in. She was the fourth wife, the newcomer, the one who said all the right things about love, sisterhood. Can't do this without you, Meri. But actions? Oh, the actions told a very different story. Almost overnight, everything changed. Kody, who used to try and balance his time, who used to act like he was managing plural marriage for the good of the family, started shifting. Suddenly, every choice centered around Robyn. Her feelings, her kids, her needs. And the biggest red flag? The honeymoon. A 10-day extravagant trip with Robyn, while the other wives, especially Christine, had barely gotten a weekend or a mention. They were home with the kids, holding everything together while Kody played doting husband in paradise. You remember that moment Christine cried when Kody left for that honeymoon? That wasn't jealousy. That was heartbreak. That was the beginning of being emotionally abandoned. And it didn't stop there. Kody started skipping nights with the other wives, canceling plans, showing up only when it served him or Robyn. When Janelle or Christine raised concerns, they were dramatic. When Robyn cried, Kody bent over backwards. And let's not forget the infamous purity comments. How Robyn was the only wife Kody courted properly. The one he waited for. He said that proudly on camera, as if his other wives didn't deserve the same. It was subtle at first, but by the time the family moved to Flagstaff, it was obvious. Robyn wasn't just a wife. She was the center, the favorite, and the rest, background noise. So the question is, was this love? Or was it manipulation from day one? Because from what we now know, it looks a lot less like romance and a lot more like control wrapped in a sob story. Now that Robyn had Kody's heart, and let's be honest, his full attention, the next phase began. Divide and conquer. It wasn't loud, it wasn't obvious, but it was calculated. Robyn didn't need to raise her voice. All she had to do was whimper, blink back a tear, and suddenly Kody was up in arms, charging like a guard dog to protect his sweet, innocent wife. Let's talk about Christine. She spent years watching her husband prioritize Robyn, financially, emotionally, physically. When Christine dared to speak up, just voice her hurt, suddenly she was labeled jealous or ungrateful. And Robyn? Robyn would say she didn't understand why Christine was upset, that she loved all the wives. Then she'd go to Kody in private. And like clockwork, he'd explode on Christine the next day. Sound familiar? Janelle saw it too. She even said it outright. Kody became meaner after Robyn joined. Because any issue, no matter how minor, if it involved Robyn, it was blown way out of proportion. Take Gwendlyn's engagement party. It was supposed to be a private, joyful event. No cameras, no drama. But at the last minute, Kody and Robyn showed up, and suddenly, filming started. Why? Because Gwendlyn had been publicly speaking out on Patreon, and they wanted control. Control that came in the form of an NDA that she was forced to sign on the spot. Tell me, what parent crashes their child's celebration just to protect their public image? And when Christine expressed concern saying it added complications, Robyn gave us her usual doe-eyed response. This is just how it goes in divorce. You gotta get used to the awkwardness. But she wasn't there for Gwendlyn. She was there for optics, control, and once again, Kody defended her. Every time. Even fights that had nothing to do with Robyn somehow circled back to her. Why was Janelle arguing with Kody? Because he stormed in furious over something Robyn allegedly said. Why did Christine finally walk? Because she couldn't live in a marriage where every discussion ended in, "You're being mean to Robyn." Robyn didn't have to fight the wives directly. She weaponized Kody. He became her enforcer. She played the victim, and he became the aggressor, making sure no one ever questioned her motives without paying for it. One by one, the wives were isolated, not by accident, by design. If Christine was the first to walk away, Janelle was the one who refused to stay silent. For years, she played the peacemaker. Logical, composed, the one who always put the family first. But eventually, even Janelle couldn't ignore what was right in front of her. The favoritism, the manipulation, the gaslighting, and when she finally spoke, she didn't hold back. We saw the cracks forming during the infamous financial arguments. While Robyn lived in a nearly $1 million home, Janelle was told she couldn't afford a modest place on the family land she had sacrificed for, planned for, and emotionally invested in. And when she confronted Kody about it, he flipped it on her. Suddenly, she was being disrespectful. Not Robyn, not the woman who had the full legal marriage, her. And then came Kody's respect monologue. Cold, condescending, completely detached. You don't respect me. That was his line, his excuse for pulling away. But the real issue? She didn't worship him the way Robyn did. She questioned him, challenged him, and that made her disposable. Janelle had spent decades raising children in a faith that demanded obedience and sacrifice. She had stayed in the shadows, but now, I don't even know who this man is anymore. She said it plainly. The emotional detachment wasn't instant. It was slow, painful, but it was clear. She stopped pretending. She stopped apologizing. And most of all, she stopped covering for him. In recent seasons, her interviews have become more raw, more real. You can see it in her eyes. The disillusionment, the exhaustion. She's no longer afraid to call it out for what it is. Robyn is the favorite. Kody has changed, and there's no coming back. Where once Janelle fought to preserve the dream of plural marriage, now she stands as the voice of truth, exposing the cost of Robyn's quiet control and Kody's unchecked ego. And while Robyn continues to cry on camera, pretending not to understand why the other wives feel hurt and betrayed, Janelle knows exactly why. And now, so do we. Robyn Brown has always painted herself as the misunderstood one. Soft-spoken, teary-eyed, the innocent wife who just wanted sisterhood. But behind those tears was a quiet power. And behind that soft voice, a sharp ability to rewrite the narrative. In interview after interview, Robyn portrayed herself as a victim, never the aggressor. She'd tilt her head, sigh, and say things like, "We were never mean to her." Or, "I don't know why they feel that way." It was a masterclass in deflection, never answering the actual question, always shifting blame or playing dumb. When asked about her role in Kody's rift with the other wives, she didn't offer clarity. She offered confusion. She'd shrug and say, "I don't know why Janelle feels that way," as if she hadn't inserted herself between Kody and his wives time and time again. This is the gaslight cycle. Robyn would provoke tension behind the scenes, complaining to Kody, twisting facts, positioning herself as the wounded party. Then, when conflict exploded, she'd step back and act stunned, as if she had no idea what caused the fire. All while keeping her hands clean. It's psychological warfare wrapped in lace. Because she never raised her voice, people believed she was harmless. But in reality, her influence was louder than any yelling could ever be. What we saw on camera was carefully curated. What the other wives experienced, that was the real story. And slowly, they began to tell it. Robyn may never admit her role in the family's collapse, but the patterns are too consistent and the damage too deep to ignore. The unraveling wasn't sudden. It was years in the making. Christine was the first to break free. After years of being emotionally neglected and repeatedly dismissed, she finally said enough. Her exit wasn't just a personal decision, it was a warning sign. Then came Janelle. Steadfast, logical Janelle, who had held on for the kids, for the structure. Even she reached her breaking point. Financial betrayals, emotional abandonment, and constant favoritism drove her to walk away. Meri, who had long been isolated, was silently pushed out. Robyn and Kody didn't ask her to stay. They just moved on without her. And so, one by one, the sister wives left. Not in a dramatic storm out, but in a slow, painful peeling away of connection, loyalty, and trust. At the center of it all, Kody and Robyn, now alone. But with everyone gone, the dynamic changed. Robyn had no one left to blame. No more Christine to misunderstand her. No more Janelle to stir the pot. No more Meri to silently absorb the rejection. Suddenly, Kody's anger no longer had a direction. And Robyn's tears? They didn't hold the same sway. Without the other wives, the illusion crumbled. The manipulation no longer worked because the audience, both at home and in the family, was gone. Their codependency was exposed, and the fairy tale Robyn tried to preserve began to look more like a carefully constructed prison. What happens when the puppet master runs out of puppets? When Kody can no longer be the protector? Because there's no one left to protect Robyn from? The story of sister wives didn't end in a fight. It ended in silence. So now we're here. No more sister wives. No more illusion of unity. Just Robyn and Kody, the last ones standing. But with no one left to triangulate, no one left to blame, and no audience left to perform for. Is their bond truly strong enough to survive the silence? Was this Robyn's plan all along? To be the last wife, the legal wife, the only one in the picture? Or has the entire structure crumbled now that there's no one left to prop it up? Because when the dust settles and there's no more drama to distract from the truth, the cracks become impossible to ignore. Christine found peace. Janelle found clarity. Meri, well, we'll get into her story next. But Robyn and Kody, they're left with only each other and all the consequences. What do you think? Was this manipulation masked as martyrdom? Was Robyn ever truly invested in plural marriage, or just the benefits of being the favorite? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Seriously, I read all of them. And don't forget to subscribe to TLC Sister Wives Recap for more breakdowns like this. Up next, we're diving deep into Meri's full journey, from wife number one to being quietly pushed out of the family. You won't want to miss that. Thanks for watching, besties. See you next time. Same truth, same tea.